Welcome everyone to the 16th round of the 2011 GP4 Offline Championship. I am your host for today, George Roke, and welcome to the Korean Grand Prix at the Yongan International Circuit. So first of all, let's go over the race rating and the driver of the day for Japan. So the race rating was given a 7.2 out of 10, and the driver of the day was shared between Nicolas Gal, who won the race to take his first victory of the 2011 season, and Felix Sonntag, who came second for Mercedes. So the driver news for this week is that Mercedes have kept both Alex Southgate and Felix Sonntag for next season. A driver announcement which I don't think really anyone really found surprising. I think pretty much everyone saw that coming, but it'll be interesting to see how those two get along next season. So we're here at Yongan, 18 corners. We'll be using obviously the older layout with the new pit exit going out of turn 2, not the original 2010 going out at the first corner. So this should be an interesting race. The track has got one of the longest straights on the calendar, turn 2 to turn 3, and it's got a quite twisty section and quite fast section, so it should be interesting to see. But anyway, here is the grid for the race. So on pole position is Evan Byrne, followed by Florian Volk in second, two of the title contenders with Waze, Kuba and Joseph Wills, and all Ferrari second row on the grid. Fifth place, I should say, is Nicolas Gal, followed by Alex Southgate in sixth. Seventh place is James Willows, who needs to have a good race if he wants to stay in the title race. Eighth place is Omar Carl, good qualifying for him for Toro Rosso, now that he knows obviously that he's going to Force India for next season. Ninth place is Viggo Holst for Force India with Roland Moitin also alongside him. 11th place is Lucas Leon, followed by Felix Sonntag in Mercedes in 12th. And as we go on to the 7th row of the grid is Alan Wolff and Robert Ionescu. There are doubts to where Robert Ionescu will go for next season. Many sources believe that he won't remain at Toro Rosso and that he might go to Sauber, but we're not too sure about that. Michael Mocho is in 15th, followed by Jimmy McKenzie 16th. Sam Thompson 17th, Roman Quagg in 18th. 19th place is Sean Grant, followed by Rifki Farkhazane in 20th place. And as we go on to the final row of the grid, in 21st place, a very poor qualifying for George Roke. And in 22nd place, last on the grid, is Bruno de Barros for Virgin, filling in for Xavier Quinlan for the rest of the season. So now we'll go and look at the weather to see what that will be for the race. As you can see, it will start off dry, but as you can see throughout the race, it will get wetter. There will be light rain at around about the 30-minute mark. So it should be very interesting to see how much it will rain. As you can see, it will be pretty heavy. Well, it'll be light rain, but it will be constant. So it should be interesting to see how that goes during the race. Anyway, we are now on the grid, so Evan Byrne is on pole position, followed by Volk in second. Two title rivals. The lights are now coming on. The 5 lights have come on. And we're underway here for the Korean Grand Prix, and it looks like the Ferrari of Waze Kuba's made a fantastic start, but he's got held up there as Evan Byrne is trying to keep the lead from Volker to turn 1, but I think Volker might have it unless as he goes around the outside, but no, Byrne has just kept it around the first corner as they head through turn 2, and he's not going to get a particularly great run off the corner. But he's got the lead. What a good start from Evan Byrne. Well, it wasn't a great start, but Volker couldn't take advantage. As here we come looking at all the cars coming down. There was James Willows has lost his rear wing. James Willows has lost his rear wing, and I believe Sonntag lost his front wing as well. And there was, I think, a few other cars involved there. Something's happened at the start. So let's go on board with James Willows, who started in 7th. So what happened at the start? Who had made the collision with him? And it looks like it was Sonntag, I think. And yes, it was Sonntag who went into the back of Willows coming into turn 1. He actually made contact with the Force India of Moitin there. He actually lifted the car off the ground. Fortunately, no damage for him. But let's go on board with Kuba, who'd actually made a fantastic start. And he nearly went through the middle, but unfortunately he had to back off. Otherwise, he would have gone into the side of Volker there. And so he dropped a 4th thing in the end, because he got actually overtaken by Southgate, and he got actually hit behind going into turn 1. But fortunately, no damage was done. But oh, there was another crash at the back, and Bruno de Barros was involved as well. And what has happened here, so he's on, let's go on board, he goes past Roke, they all stack up behind, and he goes into the back of the Lotus there, of I believe that is Roman Quagg, and it is Roman Quagg. George Roke there, just luckily getting away with that. As cars come through the corner, and I think there's a couple of slow cars, and I think Omar Carr's missing, Omar Carr seems to be going quite slowly. What's happened here, as now more of the cars come through, here comes Jamie McKenzie trying to get past the Toro Rosso of Robert Ionescu, going down the straight as we see Willows losing his front wing, and there was always a bit of a collision there with him and Joseph Willows, and there's contact, and Willows has crashed, and the two Willows brothers have hit each other. Robert Ionescu's been involved, and I think Omar Carr was as well, but Joseph Willows is out, and that could have ended his title hopes right there. So what happened here? So Willows, James Willows came right in front of his brother there, and he had to back off, and he made contact with the back of him, but he didn't have any damage there. But then Willows got hit from behind. That is Joe, that is. So who was it? It was, I think that was Robert Ionescu, who absolutely went cannoning into the back. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Amar Khan that actually went into the back. So it's Amar Khan, the two Toro Rosso drivers once again collide as they went into turn 3 there. So on board with Ionescu, I thought it was because he seemed to be coming at such speed, but he'd gone past a few of the cars, but got absolutely hit from behind. And Jades Willows, who, well, he'd already lost his rear wing, now he's lost it completely. But Robert Ionescu is now going to have to go into the pits. That is not what the Toro Rosso drivers needed, and not what Ionescu needed for next season. Now all the cars starting to stack up behind, trying to get through. As Lucas Levi trying to get through. Lucas Levi, as Levi just squeezes past, and so does Mocho as well, as they come into turn 4. As there is, I believe that was Sontag making a move down the inside there, but there is Jades Willows' car out the race. But Evan Byrne leads. Second place is Volker. Third place is Southgate. Here come the rest of the cars. Third is Southgate. Fourth is Gal. Fifth is Kuba. As is, we look at all the cars going through. There's Mocho in 13th. Sontag losing his wing as he gets overtaken by Williams. Ionescu dropping down the pack rope, trying to get past Toro, gets stuck behind, coming round the S's there. But Bruno de Barros, who's going to be in last place, this is not the race that he would have wanted to start off with. As all the cars come out, and there's the confirmation that as well as his car is going to get pushed away. But Volker at the moment is right behind Evan Byrne as they come through the last section of the lap, the street circuit part of the lap, I like to call it. As he comes round the final couple of corners, he comes into turn 17 and now comes through turn 18. Will he make a move going into turn 1? That's a notable overtaking spot. So here we go as we complete lap 1. Volker is right behind Byrne, sorry, and he's now making the move. He's on the inside, side by side, going into turn 1. As Southgate sets the fastest lap, and Volker does make the move stick, and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. That could be important for the championship. And Byrne goes a bit wide. He's going to have a bad run, and Southgate could take advantage here, and he could go around the inside, or the outside, so to speak, of Byrne. And is he going to take it before they get into turn 3? And it looks like Southgate has edged his way in front, and he has completed the move, so Byrne drops down, but he does have a hefty fuel. Look at that, 30.5, so he is clearly going for the 1 stop, but it's obviously not going to work because they are going to have to pit earlier than that when the rain comes. So I don't know if McLaren have particularly thought that one through there. As we go on board with Jay McKenzie, who is right behind the Toro Rosso of Armar cars. They head into turn 1, and is he going to make the move stick? Cars forcing him out wide, and they just about keep contact from each other, and they're still going side by side. But now here comes Ricky Harkstein as they've both got a poor run, and Harkstein goes past McKenzie. Is he going to get past Carr? As they head into turn 3, he's going to have certainly the slipstream. Well, he's not going to have the slipstream in the moment, but is he going to close it? Because he's got so much more speed because they held each other up. But no, he doesn't. Carr defends to the inside as they head through turn 3 down past the other pits. As we go on board here, I believe this is Waze Kuba, who's right behind Evan Byrne. He's going to take third coming into the first corner. And the answer is yes, he does. And Byrne drops back once again. That heavy fuel is just not working out for him. And he goes wide again, coming out of turn 2. And now it's going to allow Roland Moichin to get through. And he overtakes him, coming down the pit straight. So now he's down to 5th place already in just 4 laps. And now Hulst is going past his teammate, Miklos Gal, down the pit straight. The McLarens are struggling at the moment. As the Force Indies, Hulst will be taking Gal's seat for next season. As we look at Jay McKenzie, who's still battling with Armar Carr. Let's see as they go into turn 3. They're very close, and there was almost contact. Oh, there was contact, and they've lost. And Carr's lost his rear wing. McKenzie's lost his front wing, and they're both going to have to go in the pits. Lucas Levi's moved up to 9th. He's made a great start, but you could just see that was going to happen. I thought they were going to make contact, but unfortunately they did. And well, it's very, very unfortunate there. But here is now McKenzie, who after coming out the pits has come out in 18th place. As he comes down towards turn 3, he's now trying to go around the outside of Quag, but I don't think that's going to quite work. Quag forces him out, and he'll have to stick behind him, going into the headwind. But now the two Toro Rossos are battling each other. Careful, guys. Don't want to have another collision again, as Carl makes his move for 19th past Robert Ionescu, down into turn 3, which has been a major overtaking spot throughout, well, which is a major overtaking spot along with turn 1, as the car heads into turn 4 on lap 7. At the moment, it is still Volker in the lead. As we're now on to lap 10, the rain is still not yet come, but I imagine probably in a few laps' time it will start to rain. But here we are on board. I believe this is with Michael Mocho, I think, who is right behind Felix Sontag as they come onto the straight. He's going to make a move coming into turn 1. It was Roman Quag, I should say. And is he going to make the move stick on Sontag? And yes, he does. It's still just about side by side, but Sontag has to go wide. And McKenzie could take another place here due to the poor run. He's got out the corner. And McKenzie's side by side with Sontag. And is he going to make the move stick? And it's still side by side, but is Sontag going to hold it on for the inside for turn 3? And no, he hasn't. And McKenzie is just nipped in front. As we now look on board with, I believe this is Grace Cooper, who's now battling with Alex Southgate. He's going to take second place as they come into turn 3, and he makes the move stick. Does he? Yes, he does. There was almost contact there. And he was right behind him as there's a car already in the pit, and that is Ricky Farquharson. And he's got a problem again. He's got a throttle problem this time. He had a problem last week which prevented him from getting a higher points finish, but he still got 8th place. But he's had another problem. So it was a throttle problem. Fortunately, it was by the end of the lap. So let's see. So he comes round turn 18. It was quite fortunate that it actually happened just before he was coming to the line. So that was literally on the edge. He would have had to go through the whole lap. So that was quite lucky that the problem there occurred. But he was actually going to pit anyway. So he only had 1.8 litres of fuel left. So in essentially that actually worked out pretty well for him in the end. So let's see how much fuel the team will put in the car. He now comes into his pit box for the first pit stop of the Grand Prix. They put in 21 laps, but obviously they'll know that they'll have to change tyres earlier than that when the rain comes, or depending on how hard it rains, 21 laps. So that'll take him to lap 32. So he would probably be doing a 2-stop, I believe. He would be doing a 2-stop. And let's see where he comes out on track as James Willows, who's now come out the pit, sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.7. That's very quick. But what use will that be when the rain starts to come? As now Viggo Holst comes into the pits for his first stop of the race. He is fueled for 17 laps. I wonder if the teams are going to try and keep the cars out for longer if the rain's coming, because there'd be no point in taking them in now just before the rain comes. But we shall see before the end of the race as Holst comes out of the pits. And his teammate Ronan Moichin a lap later comes into the pits as well. Let's see how quick the stop will be for the Hungarian driver. So where will he come out on track, and where will he finish today? Will be very interesting to see. He's had not a particularly great season, to be honest. Well, certainly compared to his teammates, Viggo Holst, who, well, in fact, he's going to McLaren. That's how well he's done. As you can see, actually, the rain is now starting to come down. The rain is starting to come down, and Holst has just finished pissed off with dry tyres. So how hard is the rain going to be? I know it's going to be light rain, but how quickly will the track, I should say, get wet? Will be very interesting to see as he comes out of the pits there. As now here comes Armar Carr, who's just going past Sam Thompson. You can see the clouds have clearly come over. The rain is coming down, but at the moment, I imagine the drivers will just stay on track. Thompson fueled for 26 more laps, but he'll have to come in soon, or everyone will have to come in soon. Wet tyres, and Thompson, whoa, he tried a late lunge there on Carr. I honestly thought there was going to be a collision there. I was expecting debris to go off the car there, but James Williams goes past Robbie Ionescu. Levi comes into the pits, and he goes on dry tyres. A 13-second stop. And let's see where he comes out on track. So at the moment he's having actually quite a good race, Levi. He hasn't been involved in any collisions so far, which is probably a surprise to many people watching this, as he's been involved in a number of collisions since he joined the series, replacing Ren Jans at the Spanish Grand Prix. And let's see where he comes out on track. He comes out actually just ahead of his teammate Farquharson, but I imagine he probably won't want him to go past, but he's right behind him, and he doesn't indeed try and go past. He's allowed alongside, so is Farquharson going to make an overtake coming into turn 3? It's side by side, and Farquharson does indeed make it stick, does he? Yes, he does. That may not please Lucas Levi particularly. Those two are still in a bit of a tight battle to see who will finish ahead of each other in the championship, but that is not what Ricky Farquharson wanted. Well, it's not what Levi wanted either, but it's interesting to see what team orders go on there at Sauber. As now Florian Volker comes into the pits for his first stop of the race. 10.7 second stops at the moment. No car has gone onto the intermediate tyres yet, but I imagine it will only be a few laps, I would say, until they'd have to change. But now here is Lucas Levi now going back past his teammate Ricky Farquharson coming into turn 1, and he makes him stick for 10th place. But now Farquharson is going to be right behind us here, but he goes slightly wide coming out of the second corner, and now Levi is going to get away, so he's not going to get the slipstream, I don't think, or is he? Still just about keeping up with him. He's using his curves, but I don't think he's going to make the move as they go to nearly 320 kilometers an hour. As now Alex Southgate comes into the pits for his first stop of the race. The rain is still coming down at the moment, but let's see how quickly it will be until the cars come into the pits. And it is a 13.1 second stop for Southgate, and he comes out. The question is, where will he come out, I should say. He comes out, it's going to be 40 seconds in the pit lane. He'll come out, I think, probably still in the points. He's dropped down to 5th behind Kuba. Will he come out actually ahead of Moichin? I imagine he will, so I think 5th place will be where Alex Southgate comes out. He's fueled for 26 more laps, so let's see if that affects him, well, for the rest of the race, considering the fact that he'll have to pit soon, 4 inters anyway. Now, here is a battle for 14th place. This is between Felix Sonntag and Alan Wolf, and there was contact, and Wolf just barges Sonntag out of the way there, coming into turn 3, and he makes the move stick, and he makes the move on the Sontag from 14th place. That was quite rude. Well, actually, I think Sontag actually just overtaken him, and Wolf decided just to get him back there, just a little nudge there. Really, really cheeky there for Wolf, and he makes the move back past Sontag there for P14, I should say. Let's see what happens as they come onto the straight. Now Sontag is going to try and get his revenge. He's going to do the exact same thing, but he's got the run off of turn 2, and he's going to get past Wolf into turn 3. But let's hope Wolf doesn't do the same thing again. As will Wolf do it? And Wolf, no, he gets back at him once again. No contact made, but Wolf just gets back at him really easily there. I don't really know what Sontag was thinking there. He should have expected that Wolf would try and get him back straight away. Sontag now moving all about, trying everything to get past Wolf. He's really frustrated at the moment, but he can't quite get past, and he's stuck behind him. Now here we're on board with Florin Volker, right behind Mikhail Skau as they come onto the straight, and Volker is now going to make a move. Coming into turn 1, he's got the slipstream, and he's going to make a move on the inside. He's just about alongside, and is he going to make it stick? And the answer is yes, he does. He makes a move stick for 2nd place. That could be very important come the end of the race. This is going quite well for Volker at the moment, and he looks to be good at the moment for the win. He won't win the title here. There is a possibility if his teammate James Willis doesn't score, well, many points I should say, then he could win the title of the next round in India, but we shall see, because anything can happen in this race. And now here is James Willis, who's battling with Rifki Farquharson for 10th place as they come down the straight. Coming into turn 3, it's going to be side by side. James Willis on the inside, he's going to make the move stick past Farquharson, and yes he does. He makes the move stick, and that is 10th place for James Willis. He's making a good recovery at the moment, but how many points will he get? Because he needs as many points as possible to stop Volker from winning a 2nd consecutive championship. As now Waze Kuba comes in for a pit stop, and at the moment I believe that is still dry tyres, so the rain obviously is not coming down particularly hard. As Roland Moitian comes into the pits, the track I imagine will probably get wet, will be getting wet. Obviously it's just not showing on the graphic at the screen at the moment. As now Moitian comes in for his stop. Let's see how quick this stop will be. 18 seconds. It's a 10.3 second stop. Well, it's 18 litres of fuel, I should say. 10.3 seconds at the stop. Now James Willows comes in. Will he go out on the wets? And the answer is no, he doesn't. It looks like he's still going on the dries. But is everyone else going to come in? Because I imagine someone soon will have to pit for inters, but we'll see how quickly that will be as Willows comes back out onto the track. Where will he come out? Will he come up behind Sontag who's down at the moment in 10th place? But if he gets past him, he'll move up into 9th. At the moment, he's outside the points, Willows, but he's still got certainly a chance because his pace so far has been very good. And he does come up behind Sontag. Will he come out behind? I think that was the Williams there of Sand Thompson, and Viggo Holst was there as well, but he hasn't. So he's come back in top. But at least he's come out in free air, and there's some wheels there. So something's happened actually. There's been a crash of some sort at turn 1. So, and Evan Byrne has actually was running in first, I believe. So I think Evan Byrne might have been involved in something here, as the yellow flag has gone off, but something has happened. So what has gone on here? Let's go on board. And oh, that's why there's a crash, and Michael Mocho is out the race. So what happened here? So George Rogan made a move on him at turn 1, and he made the move stick, and then there was a bit of a crash there as Rogue was trying to get going. He went into the back of him. Let's have a look. So Rogue had just made the move stick, and obviously hadn't got the momentum going, and Mocho went into the back of him there. And so what happened here? So Mocho just then, for some reason, just turned into the side of Evan Byrne for just no reason, really. I don't really know what he was thinking. And then Byrne got stuck behind his car. I'm amazed Byrne did not get any damage for that, as the Williams there lost his front wing. I don't know who that was, but the Williams lost his front wing. So let's have a look on board with Evan Byrne once again. So he's trying to get past Mocho. Mocho just for some reason, as he came around turn 2, just turned into Byrne for absolutely no reason whatsoever. That's just really, really poor driving. You know, something that James Hunt wouldn't be proud of with lap cars. As let's see again on board with Byrne. So he's just coming through normally and just completely unexpectedly actually takes off some of the side pod of the car. But Byrne, fortunately, is still in the race. But that could cost him a chance of a podium here. Possibly, well, a win, possibly even a podium. We shall see. And let's see. Evan Byrne obviously got held up behind Mocho and he dropped all the way down to 3rd. He lost so much time there. He dropped down to 2nd behind Volker, and I believe Gal got past him as well. And yes, he did. Gal just went around the outside of him there. So that is not what Evan Byrne needed in the title race. It seems like everything that could go wrong for him at the moment is going wrong. And that is not what he needed at all. There's Lucas Lever running in 5th place at the moment, but I believe he'll have to stop soon. But he's having a great race so far. as we now on board with Evan Byrne, who in turn comes in the pit. You can see the track is starting to get a little bit damp as Byrne comes into the pit. Sam Thompson is in the pits as well for Williams. He was the one who ran over the debris from Mocho's car, hit the wheel from Mocho's car, which forced him to go into the pits. So let's see how quickly the stop will be for Evan Byrne. At the moment, he's been in the pits for 20 seconds, or 30 seconds now, I should say. It's a 13.8 second stop, so that's quite slow there for McLaren. So let's hope that doesn't affect him come the end of the race. And let's see where he will come out on track. At the moment, he is running in P4. Well, he was running in P4. There is Kuba just going past Levi, going into turn 1 there, just on the left of your screen. So Byrne will drop behind them, but he'll have some free air, so he can have some pace. There's Williams just going past on the straight. Now Ricky Farquharson comes in for his next stop. Let's see what tyres he goes on. It looks still to be the dry tyres at the moment, so it doesn't look like the track is getting particularly wet at this moment in time. Let's see where he comes out. It's a 9.4 second stop, so it's pretty quick there from the Sauber crew. So he'll still have to make one more stop before the end of the race. Let's see where he will come out on the track. He comes out in 11th at the moment. There's now Felix Sonntag for Mercedes is in behind him. Sonntag, who was involved in the first lap collisions. It's not the race that he would have wanted after a great race in Japan where he came second. He got the Driver of the Day award shared with Nicolas Gal. He's had before the two podiums that he had. Sonntag had a pretty convincing season. People were doubting whether he would still stay at Mercedes, but I think those 2 podiums pretty much guaranteed him the seat as he comes out on track. But at the moment, I should say, it's not going well for him here, but he's got the Mercedes seat for 2012, so that's something that he'll have in the back of his head. So let's see where he comes out on track. He's in 16th place at the moment. It's a 14-second stop, so it's quite slow, but he is fueled to the end of the race. You can see the track is getting pretty damp now, so I imagine the drivers probably will have to pit for intermediates sometime soon, as he drops just behind Armar Carr. Then that's not particularly what Sonntag would have wanted. There's Southgate, his teammate, who's about to lap him, which I think Sonntag will not like particularly. As Sam Thompson's gone off the track, you can see the track is clearly wet now. So what's happened to Thompson? Did he make a mistake, or did he just have a problem? And as we can see, he seemed to be going alright. And yes, he did make a mistake. He just lost control of the car again. Went well wide there. Fortunate not to hit anything. But let's go on board with him. As he headed into turn 4, and then as he was coming round into turn 5, the car just had absolutely no grip at all. And completely understeered well off the track there. And as he comes back on, he'll drop down to 20th place. And the moment, I believe, at the moment he's actually in last place. I was about to say only one car to try, but of course Michael Mocho has. And now here's Ricky Farquharson battling with Adam Wolff in the Williams for 10th place. But Farquharson going to keep it around the outside, and yes he does, and he is going to make the move stick. He's got the momentum off the corner, and he gets ahead of Wolff there. Track is clearly wet right now as the cars head into turn 4. We're on lap 33 of 55. We've still got 22 laps left, and now the cars are going to change for Inters. Mackenzie's in for Inters, Galler's in for Inters. You can see Ian Escu's in, Grant's in. I imagine everyone's going to be in now. Southgate is in. The whole field is now going to pit for Inters. Possibly everyone on the same lap except for those teammates who are already in the pits. So Ian Escu's in, Southgate's in. How long will the stop be? He has to wait for the McLaren and Gall to go past. And you can see Southgate's in. And here is Sean Grant making his stop for Inters. Everyone in for Inters. Now the track is clearly too wet for dry tyres. And he's having to wait for, I believe that was Robbie Inescu to go past there, so he couldn't quite jump him in the stops. Bruno de Barros comes in for another stop. And he's going to have to wait for the Virgin crew who have just gone in the pits after pitting Grant there. I couldn't even speak then. After pitting Grant, and now he's going to be held up significantly in the stop. This is not the race that de Barros would have wanted. He's still running at the moment, but he's yet to finish since making his debut 2 races ago, filling in for Xavier Quinlan. And let's see where he comes out on track. It's a 20.2 second stop, not the stop he would have wanted. Here is James Willers in the pits. He's running at the moment just outside of the points, but let's see if he can get anything from this race. As James Willers comes out of the pits, Volker is now in the pits on this lap, and so is Viggo Holst. Everyone in the pits now for intermediate tyres. So this will be fascinating to see what the car's pace will be like in the wet. And let's see where Holst comes out. Will he have to wait for any cars to come in? He has to wait for the Sauber of Ricky Farquharson to come in. And let's see how quick the stop will be. Adam Wolff's in as well. I believe that's the Toro Rosso mechanics just coming in the garage just ahead. Park doesn't have to wait for anyone, goes through the Toro Rosso mechanic there, as now George Roque comes in for for intermediate tyres, I should say, not wet tyres, as he comes out just ahead of Volker, so Volker will want to dispatch of him as soon as possible. And as Sontag finally comes in for his stop for winter tyres, all comes out, Park comes out. I think that will mean, with Sontag coming in, I think that will mean now everyone will have pitted for intermediate tyres as he comes into the pits, as Volker at the moment, and Volker I should say, is in the pits as well for Inters as well. Omar Carr is coming in for Toro Rosso. Let's see how quick this stop will be for him. And let's have a look at George Roque, who gets a bit out of shape there coming around turn 18. He managed to control it very well. That could have been a very nasty crash there for Roque, but he manages to control it. So we can look once again. He just gets a bit of understeer and just loses control of the car. He's lucky he actually managed to control that. Went into a bit of a slide, went offline. And you can see the car just goes right there, and he managed to control it very well on his own. So fortunately, there were no cars there to get involved. So it was quite lucky. You can just see him. He goes through the UBS sign, under the UBS sign, just starts to lose control of the car, and manages just to snap the car back the right way to control it and keep him on the track. So now here we are looking, as we're now on lap 43, as we look at Waze Kubu. At the moment, he's running in fourth place, and he loses control of the car a bit there. As he comes into sector 3 there, and fortunately he doesn't lose any positions, but that means Evan Byrne behind him is going to close up. And let's see what happens. You see he's already getting a bit out of shape coming through there, and just loses the car there. Did very well to save it. Fortunately, no damage done. Well, he's lost a bit of time, but fortunately no damage, and he can still keep on going with the race. You can see Byrne in the background there will be looking at that and hoping that Kubu will keep making those mistakes so he can close up on him. So he just loses the car, magic control. The conditions obviously are quite tricky out here in Korea, as there's Byrne, who's now already catching up thanks to that mistake. And let's see, as Reda Moitin is coming into the pits for his final stop of the race. So probably disappointing that the team didn't maybe fuel him to the end with just 10 laps to go. But he can probably hope that other drivers may have to pit as well. I imagine not everyone is going to be fueled to the end. Let's see how quick this stop will be for forcing it to just be a quick change of tyres and also for fuel, so he'll have the pace to go to get some points. At the moment he's dropped behind Kuba in 8th place, and Holst is in the moment in 9th, but will Holst get out in front? Will be interesting to see. I don't know at the moment, as let's have a look on the screen. So the Williams is coming through there. I can't see any sign of Holst anywhere yet, so it looks like, and there he is, he's actually just coming down the pit straight now, so he's safe at the moment in 8th place. You can see how much it's raining now. The spray is really coming up. Now here's Ricky Harkestein trying to get past Felix Sontag coming into turn 1, and he's trying to overtake, I believe, and it's Southgate trying to overtake Sontag, I should say, and lap traffic. And no, actually no, it's not, it's Wolf, sorry, it looked like a Mercedes then from the angle, and there's contact, and Holst has gone into the wall, the exact same thing as Mocho, and Holst is out of the race. And there's a McLaren, and Burns hit the wheel again. He's hit the debris again, and he's going to have to go into the pits for a new front wing. An absolute disaster for Byrne. Nothing seems to be going right for him at the moment, and he is out of the race as Holst's car gets pushed away. And needs to be careful he doesn't push it right into the Williams there. That was nearly a dangerous collision, and the car's being pushed right into the path there of Inescu and Ricky Parkrasane, but fortunately no damage is done. But let's have a look again. So it was Sontag who was actually making a move on Holst for 12th place coming into turn 1, and Parkrasane was right behind. And Sontag made the move stick, or similar to the Mocho Roque incident, and as they came through, Holst went a bit wide and then came right onto the path there of Ricky Parkrasane, who had pretty much nowhere to go. And unfortunately for Evan Byrne behind, he hit the debris from Holst's car, and he's now going to have to go into the pits again for another front wing, and an absolute disaster for Byrne, who's set to get a top 4. He still probably will be in the title race as long as he doesn't lose that many positions, but that is just not what he needed in the slightest, as Holst's car gets pushed away almost into the path again of the other cars on the track. But James Willows is making a pit stop at the moment, and so is Sean Grant for Virgin, as there's Holst's car getting pushed away off the track. As now here is Evan Byrne, who's going into the pits behind, I believe, is that a Sauber, I think? Well, he is. I think it's probably Ricky Parkrasane, I think, is the one who is in front of him, obviously, after that collision. Evan Byrne, how many places will he drop? Will be interesting to see. So he's now dropped to 5th place behind Lucas Levi, actually, who is doing a fantastic race. But I don't know if Levi has to pit or not before the end. But Harkazane comes in and has to change his front wing. He comes out to 7.5 seconds stop, and he'll come out. Well, he's not going to get any points, certainly. Don't know really what he'll get out of this race, but he drops now down to 6th. But I believe Levi will have to pit before the end of the race. If not, then this will be a stunning race, and something that we haven't really seen from Levi this season. Aside from, I believe it was in Valencia where he got 2 points from. As Ricky Harkazane comes back on the track, and here is Waze Kuba, who's battling. Well, he's not battling, he's trying to get past that traffic, and he's been hit. He's been hit by the Lotus there of Quag, and Waze Kuba is out of the race. And what dramatic scenes here, the Korean Grand Prix with just 3 laps to go. He gets hit by the Lotus there, Roman Quag. And Waze Kuba, once again, his bad luck continues. Ever since his win in Canada earlier this season, it's just not gone well for him. The only thing he's got is a 2nd place at his home Grand Prix in Belgium. But Waze Kuba is out of this race. That is just not what he wanted. It's just not been his season, and his title hopes, well, if they weren't gone before, they have definitely gone now, as he is out of the race. His car gets crawls towards the wall there, still going, but with damage, probably just so the marshals can push him away, out of view of everyone else. As well, that is just not what Kuba needed at all, and the yellow flags are now set to come out at turn 1, which has been the source for a number of overtakes and crashes. And well, turn 1 and turn 3 have been the real factors in what has been actually quite a good race for Korea. Not many people have been fans of this track. Let's have a look. So Quag, Kuba, had just gone past Quag into turn 1, and then for some reason Quag just didn't slow down and just went into the back of Kuba there. Just really, really unnecessary. Once again, the Lotus drivers just involved in something which they just didn't really need to get involved in. And that has put Kuba out of the race and out of the title fight for sure, as Quag is now going to have to do the whole lap with just with no front wing. But here is your race leader, and that is Florian Volker, who has taken a dominant victory so far. He took the lead early on from Evan Byrne and has never really looked back. He has really looked strong so far. Well, he's really looked strong, I should say, in the last few races. And Volker set to take another victory and extend his lead in the title race. And James Williams at the moment, who is running, I believe, who is running in 5th place. With that, I believe that means that Volker will not clinch the title at the next race in India, which means he'll have to wait one more race. So even if even if Volker wins and Williams doesn't score, it'll be 19 points. So he could still easily do it. So he could still do it, but at the moment, Volker, he won't care about that. He just needs to care about winning and hope that Willows, his teammate, doesn't get as many points. So let's see. And Willows, as you know, Willows is actually in 4th place. Sorry, I thought he was in 5th. He was actually in 4th because Evan Byrne is in 5th place as he comes around the last sector of the lap. So for sure, Volker will not win the title at the next race in India. The first Indian Grand Prix will be held at the Buddha Circuit. But as Volker comes through the last section of the lap, comes through the street circuit part of it, I like to call it, because there's just so many walls around it. It's a bit like a street circuit. But here comes Florian Volker. He's set to come around. He's come through turn 16. He now comes through 17. He comes through 18. He's looked very strong in these last few races. He took the lead from Evan Byrne at the start, and he's never looked back. He comes down the straight, and Florian Volker takes victory here at the Korean Grand Prix to state his authority on the championship. Congratulations to him, as Adam Wolf now comes through the final corner. He'll come across the line, 11th place, and there is James Williams. So he's actually lapped him. So he's lapped nearly all the cars except for himself and Gao and Southgate. So Byrne comes to the line in 5th, but it could have been so much better. Well, it could have been 4th in this race, as Robert Ionescu comes home in 12th. It's just not been a good race for him or for Toro Rosso. So he comes across the line in 12th, and now Ricky Parkazane comes through in 13th. Lucas Levi set to come home and take some good points there for Sauber in 6th place. Well done to him. Miklos Gao set to come home and take a good 2nd place there for McLaren. His luck has now turned from what has been a difficult season for him. Amar Khan set to come home in 14th place, and Renaud Moichin is going to take some more points in 7th. That is exactly what he needed as well. Sam Thompson is set to come home in 15th place. He's just going to beat the Lotus of Roman Quag to 15th, and he does come across the line as Quag tries to get him just before the line and doesn't. George Roque is set to take the final spot in the points in 8th place. Sean Grant set to come home in 17th place, and Bruno de Barros set to take his first finish in the OC by coming home in 18th, not too far behind. Felix Sontag just going to miss out on the points in ninth place. Not a great race for him after what was a pretty stunning race at Japan. It does not happen for him today. And now Alex Southgate, his teammate, is going to take a good podium for Mercedes. He won here last year, don't forget, in dry to wet conditions. And he comes across the line in third. Jamie Mackenzie had to come home in 10th. Just misses out on the points as well. He was involved in a collision with Carl, which pretty much cost him the chance of points. As he now comes across the line, you can see a dry line just starting to emerge on the track there right at the end. But there is your race winner, Florian Volker. He's taking extending his lead in the championship, as here's the full race results. Volker in first with Miklos Gauss second, Alex Southgate third, with the following drivers a lap down: James Willers, Everburn, Lucas Levi, Roland Moichin, George Roy completing the points, Vic Sontag and Jay Mackenzie, with Alan Wolf, Robert Ionescu, Ricky Park-Hussein, Amar Carr, Santons, Roman Quag, Sean Grant, Bruno de Barros, 2 laps down, with Kuba, Holst, Mocho and Joseph Willers, I should say, retiring from the race. So James Willers took fastest lap by 7/10 of a second, obviously. That was obviously in the drive before the rain came, as we look at all the rest of the fastest laps going down the order. So this is obviously not particularly relevant to how the race was, but interesting to see how the pace of the drivers in the dry, which, to be honest, for a lot of them wasn't particularly good. So anyway, let's now go on to the driver standings. And at the moment, you can see here, James Willers has got an 8-point gap over Volker. 8-point gap over Volker. Volker has got an 8-point gap over James Willers. I really don't know what's going on with me today. Who is now 10 points ahead of Evan Byrne. Joseph Willers is in 4th place. You could say he's probably just about still in the title race. Gal, possibly, but Waze Cooper is out of it. Alex Southgate in 7th with 43, Viggo Holst 8th with 33, Philip Sontag 9th with 32, with George Rick complete the top 10 with 20 points, Jamie Mackenzie 11th with 18, Amakar 12th 13, Roman Moichin 13th with 12, Ionescu 14th with 8, Park-Hussein 15th with 6, Wolf 16th with 5, with Levi and Renzians also on 5, Roman Quag with 3, Sean Grant with 2, with Sam Thompson, David Quinn and Michael Mocho and Bruno de Barros. In the Constructors, Red Bull lead by 37 points ahead of McLaren, who are in turn 16 points ahead of, 17 points actually ahead of Ferrari, who are comfortably ahead of Mercedes in 4th place. Force India at the moment just 7 points ahead of Renault, who are in turn 17 points, I should say, ahead of Toro Rosso, who are 5 points ahead of Sauber. Williams at 9th with 5 points, Lotus at 10th with 3 points, Virgin 11th with 2 points, and you can see on the graphic there, Red Bull will win the Constructors' Championship in India if McLaren don't outscore them. And also penalties, Viggo Holst, Michael Mocho and Roman Clark all have 10-place grid penalties for causing their collisions. Well, that has been the Korean Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, guys, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you for the next round, the Indian Grand Prix at the Buddha International Circuit. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you there.